Thanks for visiting the patient and the weather. Today I'm meteorologist Al Peterlin. I'd like to talk about the weather health risk for December 12, 2025. We do keep additional graphics available at tpatw.com. And of course, we have a patient weather storefront on Amazon. If you make your Amazon purchases through our storefront, it supports the activities of the patient weather. Looking at the surface weather map for December 12th, you can see this massive front basically dividing the west from the east right down the edge of the high plains. Becoming a lot more active, however, here with that low pressure center in West Virginia, the cold front hanging back all the way to Houston, and a warm front trying to cut across the northern North Carolina. You'll know the area of snow pushing down the plains on the west side of this high that's bringing in the frigid air. You'll note that we have a lot of the great or lake front, lake effect snow, not only across the state of Michigan and areas, but pushing all the way down with this low pressure center in West Virginia. Looking at our vitality index, and this is that general measure of all of the weather elements that might impact human health, and we have the massive area up and down the plains, the high plains and the plains, including parts of the middle and upper Mississippi Valley. You'll note we do have that fleeting system up here in New England, and then we have a new activity band down here along the Gulf, and this is with high pressure forcing air up and across the Gulf, and with that frontal system and the influx of moisture, a lot of unsettled weather here in the southeast. Looking at pressure change, which is always an interest for those with migraine, even arthritis. The pressure will be rising up the plains from the Texas Panhandle across Oklahoma all the way up through North Dakota, picking up a portion of eastern Montana, and then also being quite significant here from Missouri up across Iowa into Minnesota. You note we have another area of very sharply rising pressure all the way from Maryland, Delaware, and eastern Pennsylvania, across New York and New England, all the way up into eastern aspects of Canada. Looking at temperature change, you can see we have that frigid outbreak, tremendously falling temperatures up here in the northern plains, down all the way picking up into Oklahoma. But note that we have rising temperatures here across the Gulf, across really northern Pennsylvania into New York. And we have really significant warming here along the Gulf, all the way from Houston, across the southeast, and then skirting on up into areas of West Virginia. And that just happens to be where that low pressure center is and the frontal activity. So here's the unsettled weather. Looking at dew point temperatures, it just basically confirms what we've already talked about, falling dew points here in the plains, rising dew points in the southeast, and that swath of rising dew point temperatures here from the Great Lakes across into New York State. And again, vapor just again confirming that. Looking at the availability of oxygen in the atmosphere, you can see that we have a significant risk of migraine stretching from eastern New Mexico, eastern Colorado, but becoming even more significant from the Texas Panhandle across Oklahoma, north all the way through the Dakotas, picking up eastern Montana and eastern Wyoming, but also stretching from Missouri across Illinois up into Minnesota. Note we have a small swath of migraine risk here across Pennsylvania into New Jersey and Connecticut, and then picking up again in far eastern Canada, more like the New Brunswick, Nova Scotia area. The risk of asthma and arthritis is here across the Michigan and the Michigan Upper Peninsula, trying to cut its way down into western New York or Buffalo. But the most significant area of asthma and arthritis stretches from southern Texas across Houston, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, the Carolinas, up here in eastern Kentucky, eastern Tennessee, and that low in West Virginia, and making its way all the way down through central Florida. Thanks for visiting the patient and the weather. Your comments are appreciated. And if you hurt, let us know where you're located. Don't forget, if you shop Amazon, do it through our storefront, Patient Weather, and it supports the activities of the Patient Weather.